Alright, for problem number 31, it says the cosine of x is equal to 1/2. And so we're going to keep this in degrees. We know that this is going to happen in the first quadrant. And the cosine is also positive in the fourth quadrant. So when I do cosine inverse of 1/2, it tells me that the answer is 60, which gives me the answer for the first quadrant. And if this is 60, that gives me an answer of 300. Now, since they didn't tell me how many answers to get, I'm going to add 360n to both my answers, just in case they are looking for all of them, where n is an integer. For number 32, they give me that angle C is a right angle, so we'll make this a right triangle. And A is 22, and B we don't know, and B is 5. So angle A is 22, angle B we don't know, angle C is 90, B is 5. So 180 minus 90 minus 22 is 68. So we need to find out what side A is or what side C is. And you could do the law of sines. Or what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply say, alright, if I call this x, the tangent of 22 equals x over 5. Multiply both sides by 5. So x equaled, or A in this case, equaled 2.02. And then I can do the Pythagorean theorem. 2.02 squared plus 5 squared equals c squared. And that gives me 29.08. And the square root of that is 5.4. For problem number 33, they give me A equals 15, angle A equals 36, angle B equals 24, and we want to know what C is equal to. So first I'm going to get angle C by subtracting 180 minus 36 minus 24, which is 120. And because this is not a right triangle, I either have to use the law of sines or the law of cosines, and I'm going to use the law of sines. 15 over the sine of 36 equals C over the sine of 120, and I'm going to multiply both sides by the sine of 120. And so the sine of 120 times 15 divided by the sine of 36 is 22.1. And since we don't need to know what B is, I'm finished with problem number 33. 34, we have a 14-foot ladder and a 28-degree angle. I'm going to say the 28 degrees is right here, and I'm trying to find the height. How far is the wall away from the base of the ladder? Reading the problem, I'm going to move this 28 to be up here because I think the angle between the ladder and the brick wall is 28. So we're going to use the sine of 28 equals x over 14, and then multiply by 14. And 14 times the sine of 28 is 6.5. And that's my answer for 34. For number 35, we're once again given some information. Angle A is 82, B is 6, C is 12, and we're looking for A. This time we have to use the law of cosines. So A squared is going to equal B squared plus C squared minus 2 times B times C cosine of angle A. All of this can be put into your calculator. So 6 squared plus 12 squared and so on. Is 159.96. Square root both sides. And we get 12.6. And that is what A is equal to. For 36, they give us 3 sides and they ask for the area. So this is one in which we're going to use 1/2 A plus B plus C to find out what S is. So 1/2 of 11.6 plus 10.6 plus 12.8, and that turns out to be 17.5. And so we do the square root of 17.5 times 17.5 minus 11.6, 17.5 minus 10.6, 17.5 minus 12.8. And make sure you do the parentheses correctly and you'll wind up with 57.9. The sine of 3 pi over 4. Well, first you probably want to multiply by 180 over pi. So really this is the sine of 135 degrees. Now when they look for the exact answer, you're going to plug in your calculator and it's not going to give you anything. So the first thing is you can want to make sure that you see it's in the second quadrant. And in the second quadrant the sign is positive. And this is 45 degrees. 45 degrees is your middle finger. So you have 2 fingers below the middle finger, because sine is below, and you wind up with that. So let's stick with this and get the cosine of pi over 3. When you multiply by 180 over pi, for those of you who like to use degrees, which is most of you, you wind up with the cosine of 60, which we know is in the first quadrant, and everything is positive in the first quadrant. So this is going to be the pointer finger. And how many fingers do you have below? How many fingers do you have above the pointer finger? That's 1. That's 1/2. And so that's your exact answer for 38. Alright, we're going to change 3.75 radians to degrees. So I am going to multiply it by 180 over pi. Since they want us to round to the nearest tenth, actually put pi into your calculator and you get the answer of 214.9. And then finally, for this video, for 170 degrees, to change it to radians, multiply by pi over 180. Since you want the answer in terms of pi, I'm only going to put it into 170 and 180, get the answer as a fraction, and it turns out to be 17 pi over 18. And then we got the next video has 10,